Sorry for the mess, sometimes these durability tests can get a little dirty. This video is sponsored by Chime, but more on them later. The Galaxy Z Fold 6, at first glance, to me anyway, feels a whole lot like the Z Fold 5, and the 4, and the 3. Samsung has modified the rings around the 3 camera lenses, and made the center crease slightly less pronounced with its new sheer thickening fluid design, which hopefully we'll see more of in a second. But it still has the same laundry list of warnings that we saw all the way back with the original Fold 1. Like don't press too hard, keep away from dust, and don't take off the screen protector. Which is fine, this is arguably the most technologically advanced smartphone on the planet, even after it not having changed much in the last 3 years. The inner flexible display has an underscreen selfie camera, which is kinda cool. The exterior display is almost the same size as a regular smartphone, with full functionality, which makes me wonder if I would have enjoyed switching to the Fold more than the Flip. But I'm not about to change my phone again, cause once every 3 or 4 years is enough for me. Starting off with the inner screen scratch test, even with this new sheer thickening fluid upgrade, the exterior layers of the display start scratching at a level 2 with deeper grooves at a level 3. And since fingernails, horse hooves, and elephant tusks are also a 3 on most scale of hardness, this display would get wrecked by all of those things. As a side note, something I learned yesterday was that elephants can smell and locate water from over 10 miles away, which is crazy. The exterior glass is a Victus 2, meaning it scratches at a level 6 with deeper grooves at a level 7. And that front-facing 10-megapixel camera is protected by the same glass. Samsung is calling this the lightest Fold ever made. It's a whole half an ounce lighter than its predecessor. For my American audience, a half an ounce is about the same weight as 2/4. Still made with aluminum though, except for the 5G antenna location. Up at the top we have a very interesting earpiece loudspeaker opening. You can see the tip of my razor sink into the device while still being visible through the front slit above the screen. It'll be interesting to see what's going on there from the inside in a few minutes, especially since the Z Fold 6 is immersible in liquid. The same thing happens when we reach the bottom near the 25-watt USB-C port. The main upgrade of the Fold 6 though, besides it being half an ounce lighter, is that now the 3 rear camera lenses have textured camera rings. The top wide-angle 12-megapixel camera, and the middle 50-megapixel main camera, and the lower 10-megapixel 3x telephoto camera all have that record scratch sound effect ability, which is worth $1,900 all by itself right there. JerryRig knife not included obviously, you gotta buy that separately. The center screen size is the same as last year with the same pixel density, but this year we do have a higher peak brightness, which is nice when you're scrolling through fire memes all day. This Fold 6 lasts about 25 seconds under the heat from my lighter before the pixels go black and the upper layers of the plastic melt. Another subtle upgrade this time around is that the phone's ingress protection rating actually includes dust. IP48 means that it's protected from dust specks greater than 1 mm in size. And I don't know if you've been outside recently, but 1 mm is pretty big when compared to the average granule of dirt. And if we spread copious amounts of this outside stuff all over the hinge and munch on it for a bit, there is quite a bit more grinding hinge noises than there were before, which is concerning. Samsung says that this hinge is rated for 200,000 folds, or about 10 years worth of use, but that's obviously in a pristine dirt-free environment. I'm a little queasy knowing that my almost $2,000 smartphone has ingested a harmful substance. It seems like the dust protection is a little bit less protective than it was last year, at least with my own testing. Finally, the bend test. With the Fold 6 closed, it's obviously a tank. 2 slabs sandwiched on top of each other aren't bending anywhere from the back or the front. Opening the Fold 6 though, and going backwards, shows off a whole lot of flex. But it does lock out without damaging the display, or the hinge, or the frame. Bending along the crease of the hinge itself, kind of like the iPad, does not yield any catastrophic results, unlike the iPad. The Z Fold 6 survives my durability test, which means now we can commence the teardown and see how much dirt got captured inside of that hinge. I do like that the Fold 6 comes with 1 free screen protector replacement in the first year, and if the screen itself gets toasted, which mine is probably going to be, a full screen replacement in the first 2 years is only $200, which isn't that bad. With the professionally replaceable exterior screen protector removed, the Fold 6 is still functioning like normal, for now. The other permanent layers below that screen protector require a bit more finesse. And it might be hard to see something so transparent get sliced away from the pixel layers, but you know what else is transparent? Chime, an award-winning banking app with no hidden fees or monthly minimums. By the way, I think this second layer is just another layer of permanent plastic and not the sheer thickening fluid. The best way to save money, besides buying last year's phone for half the price, is just keeping track of where your money is going. It's very much possible to still have fun and still make financial progress at the same time. You can start building your own credit with Chime's secured Credit Builder Visa credit card, which has no annual fees or interest. Personally, for the past decade, I put all of my daily purchases on a credit card and then go pay it off in full every month just to build my credit. Since with better credit could come lower rates on loans, which help considerably when buying things like a car, a phone as expensive as a car, or a house. Trying to separate the third layer of glass gets a bit more dicey, just like trying to navigate today's world without credit is dicey. If you're out there buying things anyway, you might as well multitask and build your credit while you're at it. You can get started right after this video at chime.com/jerryrig. No hidden fees or monthly minimums. The banking of the future is 100% mobile and online. Chime.com/jerryrig. It feels like progress. It was about here where I noticed the smoke and a bit of flame coming from the display. Definitely something new. Normally smartphones don't start on fire during this disassembly process. Don't worry Samsung, we're nowhere near the battery. It seems to be that the screen ribbon for the flexible AMOLED that's smoldering. The layer we're removing now is behaving differently than what we saw in the Flip 6. This Fold 6 has the glass and what I assume is the sheer thickening fluid combined together. And again, just guessing, but you can see the ultra-thin glass crumble as I peel it away from the carbon fiber reinforcing layer below. The carbon fiber is a tad melted in the corner, but comes away from the phone easy enough. It looks like the left side is where some of those ribbons are located, so we must have shorted out some of the power wires with one of my slices. The carbon fiber can peel away from the gold digitizer. This gold layer is what allows the S Pen to work on the Fold 6. It seems kind of weird that Samsung would go to all the effort of making the S Pen compatible while not including the S Pen inside of the phone itself. You might be thinking that after all this damage and fire and poking and prodding that the Fold 6 would be dead, but Samsung didn't raise a quitter. It's very much alive and fully functional even with its middle display completely removed. My mom didn't raise a quitter either though, and we'll keep going until there's nothing left to go through. The back panel comes off easy enough, and the front AMOLED also comes off easily enough. This obviously isn't a tutorial for how to do things correctly. The more sophisticated these phones become, the more sophisticated the tools are to repair them. And today, sophistication sounds exhausting, so we're taking a shortcut. The left side of the phone has 13 Phillips head screws, and when those are gone, the NFC and 15-watt wireless charging pad can get released. The right side of the phone has 10 screws holding down its components, and as a reminder, if you ever want to gaze on the internals of your own smartphone externally, you can always snag one of my X-ray or teardown skins from D-Brand. We've covered pretty much every smartphone and tablet. Thankfully, Samsung has again graced us with battery pull tabs. The phone itself might not survive a teardown, but at least we can get the battery out easily. I'll pull off the extension ribbons, just like little Legos, and remove 2 more screws, one on each corner of the motherboard, and the brains of the Fold 6 can come away from the phone. The 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera does not have OIS. The main 50-megapixel camera does have OIS, and the 10-megapixel telephoto camera also has optical image stabilization. The front 10-megapixel selfie camera does not. The vapor chamber inside of the Fold 6 is 60% larger than on the Fold 5, which is nice. It probably helps out with all the AI and ray tracing improvements. The upper loudspeaker and earpiece comes out at this point, with a blue translucent window so that we can see the balls inside of the speaker. The same thing goes for the lower loudspeaker, which for $1,900 it should very much arrive with all the toppings. The newly designed loudspeaker slot at the top of the phone uses the same cavity as the earpiece on the front of the phone. The cavern combines into one rubberized screen mesh that's designed to keep water out. The holes on this mesh are so microscopically tiny that water, being all cohesive and stuff, would rather cling to other droplets than cheese grate itself into the internals of your phone. However, the deeper the phone gets submerged, the more likely that water pressure will overcome the tininess of the holes and allow ingress into your phone, which is why it's only rated IP48 to a depth of 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. Now, apparently when going to remove the larger battery, the battery ribbon is underneath the upper circuit board, which needs to come out after the dual SIM card tray gets removed. It's still extremely annoying to me that instead of being able to pay $100 for an easily swappable 1TB micro SD card, I have to pay $100 for a minuscule, non-removable increase of just 250 gigs. Highway robbery. I'm still very much annoyed with the industry-wide SD card slot removal. The larger of the two batteries can be pulled out with its plastic tabs again. And thank you Samsung for this. Thumbs up all day long for removable batteries. These guys combined are 4,400 milliamp hours, which makes me very happy. For the final reveal, we'll see how much dirt got into this hinge. Remember, while the table is currently dirty, the hinge itself has been relatively sealed the whole time, ever since it was unboxed a few minutes ago. With the 6 screws that were holding on the interior shielding removed, we can see that the hinge is dirtier than a kitty's litter box. I feel like the previous 5 generations of Z Folds were all better at keeping out dirt. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. And thanks a ton for watching. I'll see you around.